Well, Joe had 4.
Right.
Bob had 3.
Right.
Who comes after
Joe
Bob?
Bob. Kay has 3.
Kay had 3. Nancy had 2.
Terry.
Terry had,
1.
yeah, Kim. And you had the 1.
1. That's 13, I think. I'm not sure, but I think it's 13. Anybody else got any questions?
Yeah, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different?
Go to Disneyland!
What?
Did we name your husbands?
No, we didn't. We
Yeah.
didn't name, but I think we might be able to remember that much if we do it real quick. Who the husbands and wives were.
The 6 kids.
But then again, who wants to remember?
Oh, dear.
I don't know, was it?
Well, what stands out in your mind most if you look back?
What stands out in my mind?
I'd say the
I'm not asking you.
What for? What?
Go ahead and tell them. Freddie knows what Grandma said. Yes. The most memorable things about Reddington Road.
What?
And the orphans.
The orphans, when they came in the summer.
That was the fun.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Every summer.
yeah, a couple of, we were only there about a year or so, and Peggy Ann used to bring the orphans down from Glorville. And we'd get a pool and a couple of pools.
Horses.
And the horses and the hoe-wise.
Right?
No, we got some from the saddle.
Right, some were ours.
And Sister Jeanette climbed up on a ladder to get on a horse.
Right. Rode the horse.
And then when we moved down there, what was Missy Gold next door came down, and she was riding a tractor all over the place.
Well, sure, coming out to the country.
Yeah. That's about.
And when Daddy worked, when Daddy set up the plant down there, he came home every day for lunch.
Oh, yeah.
You ever get sick of seeing him?
No. And who ate lunch with him? Eddie, no, the kids, Patty and Henry had lunch with him every day.
But even before that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he came up every day for lunch. And many a time he'd be coming up and Nan would see him running and she'd run down and stick a lollipop in his mouth.
She knew he was
When he had
on sugar.
yeah, when he was getting short on sugar. But that's about it.
When the cows got loose in the drive and we had to chase them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how about when Terry took the horse and put you on it and rode down 22 into the drive-in movie? You remember that?
Wow.
Remember that? Of course, traffic wasn't like it is today then, 27 years ago.
You brought me to the drive.
Yeah, on a horse.
My sister, what did I care?
Well, hell, you married one.
You gotta clarify that one.
First time.
A horse or a sister?
And how about how often you change the curtains and the furniture?
Oh, God. Put Lori out on the window out. Pull him outside the house. And
Oh, I was washing the window, and the window came down, and I couldn't get in, and I'm hollering for you to go get Daddy. And the fire department happened to be coming up, and they came up and opened the window and let me in.
Because I stood there and cried.
Well, you know, they don't do things like they do today. We had to do our spring clean and our fall clean, and we rolled up the rugs, and we put straw rugs down, and then you took your straight curtains off and put tie backs on.
And you rotated the furniture weekly.
Right. Well, that was the only... Your daddy had to put the light on to see where the bed was next. Because I used to move the bed around and everything. Well, that was the only way you know I cleaned with the 4 kids. She had to move the furniture out there, well, she had to do something.
Make it
I
look
had
like
many kids with the bed moving around.
I gave up moving beds then.
And now tell us,
No, that was a ritual. You did that.
so when the kids were small and you had no washing machine, and
we were talking about this the other day.
with the scrub board in the tub?
Oh, and then the last one was when on Hobart Avenue, they had a pot with a motor on top. And that's how you wash the diapers. You just spun around. Yeah.
What you do with the baby shit?
Me too.
Gotta feed those kids something.
And how much money did Daddy make a week when we moved out to Reddington Road?
Oh, God.
$1 a week is so.
Oh, no, when we first got married, he worked in WBNX, and we lived on the 6th floor
Sit over there, 'cause I
on Park Avenue.
the microphone's there. Seriously.
He was making $25 a week when we got married,
No, it isn't.
$25 a week?
and we paid $25 a month for rent.
$25 a month.
For rent.
What year was that, Grandma?
37.
Here.
1937?
Mm-hmm.
You got married in 37?
Mm-hmm.
Married in 37.
Mm-hmm.
Who's 37?
They got married in 1937.
1937.
Now, wait.
Oh,
I got married in 37. I was born in 39. I was number 3.
go check my room. Wait a minute.
Let's do this math again.
That's 1937.
Okay, so she was born in 37.
39.
39.
You were number 3.
It couldn't have been, because you're 2 years apart. 1934.
34. You got married in 1934. Now tell us how you met Daddy.
I told
Oh, you
Terry
did, I'm
already.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you tell him about how you eloped?
No, I didn't.
And why?
Gee, I got to tell all the truth. Dad, my father loved my husband. In fact, he used to take him out for a ride every Sunday in the car. You know, at
Daddy
that
was
time.
Irish.
No, he didn't have anything against the Irish. When we said we were going to get married, his parents didn't like the idea of marrying an Italian girl. So when my father heard that, he said, well, if she's not good enough for your family, you're not good enough for us. So there. So one day I packed my lunch and went to work and went down to St. Anthony's Church to 8 o'clock mass, 9 o'clock mass. And my girlfriend and her cousin were there, and they stood up for us. We got married. That night, Aunt Jen and Aunt Marge were having a shower for me, and I told them I was married. So they said, you better not go home to New York with him. Papa will be out with a gun after you. But Daddy says, if you don't go, then that's it. So off we went. We went to New York, to 161st Street, 159th Street. Huh?
What?
No.
Did Daddy have an apartment there or what?
Yeah, we had our apartment all set up.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, we bought a kitchen set and a bedroom set. And walked up 6 stories. Closer to heaven. You went up on the roof to hang out your clothes.
How old were you, Ma?
Oh, God, I don't know. How old was I? 20?
All right, well,
34.
34. 1913.
1913.
Now, what did you do for fun when he wasn't working, when he was off? What did you do? Where did you go? What did you do for fun?
We came out to Elizabeth at least once a month
To do what?
to see our parents. We'd have
That's
go.
fun.
Yeah. We had no money to do anything else. So that's what we did.
Went to the parks and stuff like that.
Oh, well, that was after you kids were born. On his day off, we would go out to Jones's Beach.
Describe what it was like when Joe was born, because he was the firstborn. What were your feelings? What was his feelings? What went on when Joe was born?
I don't know.
You know, Joe.
Well, was he planned or was he a surprise?
Then you didn't plan and you weren't surprised because you didn't take pills or anything else.
How could it be me and Mom? How could it be
No,
one or
the better question is, how did they feel when they found out I was going to be born?
That was it. That was a surprise. That was a surprise.
Well, what were your reactions?
You don't have any. You just take it and live with it.
Yeah, I know. Same approach everybody's had to learn.
Hey, you who took me on a horse to the drive-in.
Grin and bear it.
Wait, how old was Grandma when she had you, Lord?
45.
I don't think so.
No, I think it was
44.
42.
No,
42.
Ma. How old are you?
78.
And I'm 35.
Yeah.
So you were 44.
Mm.
Well, I'm going to be
43.
35. And she's going to be 76.
I'm going to be 79.
9.
Going back.
Wrong number.
You were born in April, and Mom's birthday's in November.
November.
So you were born, what year were you born?
57.
April of 57.
When we had the 4 kids on a Sunday, we were up on Hobart Avenue then.
Hobart
And we'd go out in the car. I'd go to church in the morning. Daddy would go first. He opened up the church. And then I'd have the water boiling, and we'd have our spaghetti dinner. And then the 4 kids went in the car, and we'd go up to Van Cortlandt Park, or we used to go up to Salt Mill River Parkway just for a ride. And then when they went to Van Cortlandt, Bob and Joe used to fly planes or make model planes or fly kites or whatever, and we'd walk around. Then we would get in the car and take a ride and stop at White Castle and order hamburgers and drink. Or in the car we'd have candy and eat it on the way up and then stop and have, that was our Sunday.
After you had White Castle, did you all go back home in the same car?
Oh, yeah.
With the windows up.
So that was our day out every Sunday. We had to get away, you know. If there was an orange skin in the driveway, my kids did it, you know, and we had a party driveway.
A party driveway?
Yeah, that you shared it.
With Bob and Walt.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Bob. Bob was a good kid. He was.
That was the problem.
Huh? He was good until he went into the service, believe it or not.
That government gets you every time.
Grandma, what was your first car that you guys had?
A Chevy. It had the fins in the back, like, you know.
Wait, that was the first new car. It was a 57 Chevy.
Yeah.
But Dad's Fiat,
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
like a 32 Fiat.
Oh, we'd go to down to Jamaica and that thing and go shopping or something. When they saw me and him, and he was tall, and the 4 kids get out of that little Fiat. It was really something.
And then I remember,
What, no car seats?
then I remember the
No
Chrysler.
rumble seat? No rumble.
Yeah, there was a Chrysler, and then he had a Caddy.
You know, the Chrysler, well, the order that I remember is Fiat, and then the Chrysler, and then the 57 Chevy, and then the 59.
Oh, our first car was a Chandler
Okay.
when we were on 156th Street. Yeah, it was a big boat. Yeah.
And then after the 59 Chevy, then it was the 54 Caddy, the powder blue one that Bob totaled down on Gaston Avenue, as a matter of fact. Got hit by a truck down there.
64 or 54?
54. He went back to old Cadillacs.
Oh.
Then he had a Caddy that yet
59
had
with the big wings.
The white one?
no, it
The
had
one with the airbags.
airbags.
The one that
That's
I
what
got
it was.
sick in
Yeah,
on, Christmas Eve.
yeah, all over his cashmere coat that he always wanted. All his life he wanted a cashmere coat. And she threw all over his cashmere.
And then they put it in the closet, took it out the next year. And
I washed it first, but the moths got it. Oh my God, you should have seen it.
so from a full-length coat, it became a cashmere jacket.
Oh, that was a mess. But he was a good-natured guy he didn't get upset over it. He's so much like Joe, never got mad. He never raised his voice. Never touched any of them. Never whacked them or anything.
To you, Ma, huh?
You know why? Because the first time, I think it was Bob, or was it Terry? He smacked, no, it was Bob. And I cried, and he says, okay, from here on, I don't touch him anymore, and he never did.
But you beat us to a pulp.
Grandma, did you go anywhere on your honeymoon?
A year later, we went to Niagara Falls. In a boarding house, you know, in a boarding house, they give you your breakfast.
It's called bed and breakfast.
Well, they used to call them a boarding house. No, we never went anywhere at all. Really, the only vacation we really had was on our 35th anniversary when the kids bought us tickets to go up to
Mount Airy.
Mount Airy.
What about when you drove to Florida?
Well, that was a business trip. He was going down there for business. He went down to Cape Canaveral with this guy, Terry.
No,
It's 55. Oh, no.
in the White Comet.
And
Yeah.
the Comet de Caliente,
Yeah.
the white one, that would have been, that was a business trip too, though.
Yeah, it was. They were all business trips whenever we went anyplace.
That's when he sold the 59 Caddy and bought this hot rod, Comet with the high performance 289 in it. And then drove it to Florida and got caught in a rainstorm and all the luggage got ruined because the trunk leaked.
Mm-hmm. No, really, the only time we went away was when the kids treated us to go up
Mom,
to...
do you mean your 25th wedding anniversary?
No. It was the 35th. Wasn't it?
I don't, because if you got married in 1934,
I think it's the 20.
44, 54.
We were on... where did we
that
live
would've been
then?
25 years.
Where did we live then?
I thought she said 35th wedding anniversary.
No.
Well, it was an anniversary. I remember that.
Right, the 25th, what year was that?
Daddy was in the
59.
line.
That's what I mean. It would have had to be
No,
25th
they're married 34.
or maybe 30th. 30 would have been 60.
25, I would say. it was.
25th, I
30th wedding
guess.
anniversary would have been 62.
Mm-hmm.
Was that what it would have been?
That must have been the 25th then. I didn't keep dates.
So you had 6 kids.
Probably the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
How much did Daddy help you with the kids?
He couldn't help me with the kids. He was going to school at night. He didn't do much with the kids. When we'd be going to Jersey, I'd get one ready, and he'd go outside, and I'd send the next one out, and then the next one out. And he stayed outside until we got ready to go.
So you filled the car.
No, he had no time for the kids, really. Only on a weekend.
And did anything anyhow.
It was only on the weekends, you know.
Where did Grandpa go to school at night for?
Engineering.
He went to engineering school at night?
Yeah, RCA. Hmm. He went to grade school and high school at the same time. They thought he was out of his cotton picking mind. They said he could never do it, and he did.
How much schooling did he complete?
Well, he got his high school, and then he went to RCA.
So you never had a college degree?
No, he never had a college degree, but he was going to school day and night at one time.
How high did you get in school?
10th grade.
10th grade?
2 years in junior high.
And when you worked at the store, you worked in your father's store?
Yeah. While I was going to junior high school, I worked in the store in the mornings. I'd open it up 5 o'clock in the morning, nice and cold, sitting on a radiator. And then I'd go when Pop came down, and I'd go up and get ready, and then I'd come home for lunch. That was when you froze your Milky Ways. And the kids... and the kids weren't allowed... We lived across the street from the high school, and they weren't allowed out of the grounds. So I'd run over and sell them frozen Milky Ways over the fence.
How much did they cost?
A nickel.
A nickel?
Yeah.
So it wasn't a penny?
No, it was a nickel for a Milky Way. So then I run back and get ready and go back to school again. I worked in all kinds of sweatshops. You know, in the Romper company, you'd sew so much of a part of Romper, shirts and different things.
But you didn't work.
And then I worked in a hat store, a hat factory where we put the trim on the hats.
After you got married, though.
Oh, I didn't work at all. I did not.
You did try to go back for...
Oh, but that was after you were big on North 7th Street. Yeah, I went to work in, what was the name of that place? I was in the... Doubleday, that's it.
And
But Daddy didn't speak to me for 3 months while I was working, plus he didn't want me to go to work.
Why
He didn't want me to go to work. He wanted me to stay home with the kids.
Well, you were.
barefoot and pregnant.
So did you quit?
Yeah, who watched us when you went to work?
Joseph did.
St. Joe.
Yours were big. You were 10, 12-year-old.
That was
you
before
in
me and
school.
Terry
Oh, yeah, that was before you and Terry.
lost the boy.
Yep.
That Nancy gave him that name. Monster Boy.
So that was it. We didn't have it easy, believe me.
Well, you didn't have washing machines and dishwashers and
And then when we had the three-family house, as Terry was saying, I had the wash tub out in the cellar. Well, we had a basement apartment. We had the other 2 floors rented.
Terry wasn't paying then.
But he, huh?
I was talking about even on North.
I was telling, oh yeah.
You weren't born in the...
No, but on, up in Hobart Avenue, my 2 tenants, if I didn't have the front hall done and the mailboxes all polished up and everything before 8 o'clock, you worried about it.
and what kind of rent? Did you
And
get?
it's $45, $50 rent. That's all. And then you had to have the give them green shades every season. You'd have green and white shades on. We didn't have air conditioners. You pull your green shades down and keep the sun out. And then you'd have to do their floors for them, polish up their floors. And I remember Mrs. Oh God, what was her name? I remember. No, I can't think of her name, but she was complaining about the one on the first floor having too much company. She wasn't going to give us our rent unless we did something about the tenants downstairs. That's what. And we had a cold furnace. And how do you say when you feed them through the like a feeder?
Shoot.
A chute, the coal went in. You didn't have to shovel the coal in it.
Oh, it was a stoker.
A stoker. And Daddy would be away for a week or so. He'd be traveling for the company. And I was so scared that doggone thing was going to blow up. I'd sit up there half the night waiting to see that the darn thing didn't blow up. But we had a nice apartment downstairs in the basement. Daddy put Congolium on the wall, believe it or not, and it was dark maroon with a banner. And then he made a thing to wax it. And boy, that thing shone like, I'm telling you.
Like a what?
Tell the truth.
Well, that's what it was all about. Keeping it clean.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. 4 kids and keeping that 3-family house going.
Jeez. So the 4 of them.
Then when he made the room on the house out on North 7th Street, we were out there mixing cement and everything, like you do. But we had good times.
So how did Bob and Joe get along?
They had one fight when Joe was going with Millie. And I don't know what the heck. I wasn't even here when they had the fight. But Joe walked halfway to Huntington, to where Millie lived. Huntington.
Where were
Because
you,
I can't remember. No.
I remember being there. You did so. You were so there because you put yourself between the two of them.
I don't remember. I don't remember. But I know he walked half, and Millie, when she saw when she saw Bob the next time, she was going to beat him up. Oh, gee.
So how'd the four of them get along?
The kids were good. I didn't have time to go out and see what they were doing every 2 minutes.
Like you.
I didn't see whether they dropped the sock on the floor or not.
Like you.
I didn't worry about their marks. They all got good marks. We didn't pressure them.
They were bored.
Didn't have
They'll
time.
grow out of it.
Didn't have time.
How about that one year, Ma, when Nancy found out that there was no Santa Claus and I got accused of telling that?
I don't remember that.
Forget it.
Did you tell her, Kay?
No way, but I got accused of it.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that's when I
The beginning.
spoiled it. Spoiled the whole fantasy. Well, we believed so long, my
How
God.
old were you, 14?
This is right after she got married.
And it pieces? Up to what age, you remember? What age you believed it?
I think I was in second grade. I was 7 or 8.
You probably believed
I
more
think
than
we were that old.
10 or 11 or
Yeah.
12, somewhere in there.
Wow.
I think we were pretty old too, weren't we, Mom?
Did you believe that long?
I think past second grade.
What about you, Tom?
What? I wasn't listening.
Up to what age did you believe there was a Santa?
Last year.
He still
I was
does.
crushed.
So as each of the kids grew up and started getting married, what was your opinions and philosophies on their spouses and dating and
No, I didn't.
didn't
bother
Daddy
me.
always have a saying and about who they chose?
No, he says, no, he never
Who was the first one that got
said anything about anybody.
Bob. Uncle Bob was the first one that got married?
And he met Priscilla. We
Serve our party.
no, she was a receptionist.
For Grandpa?
No,
At where he worked?
it's in Servo on Jericho Turnpike, and they never had a Christmas party until after Christmas, and then the whole family was invited. And Bob was home on leave, and Pris was at the Christmas party, and Daddy introduced Bob to her. And Bob was going with another girl at the time. So when, I forget her name, but when Bob got married in Holy Ghost Church, this girl was sitting in the back with a black veil over her face.
I don't remember us going to that party, only Bob.
I
You were
think
chopped liver, Kay. Nobody
I
took
know.
you anywhere.
I know.
I think you're right. I think it was only the wives that were invited. Yeah.
Well, why was Bob there?
Because he was on leave. I don't know how he got to go, but he did.
So Joe was there.
No, Joe was not there.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's how he met Pris. So,
Daddy's fault.
Let me see. Joe
Oh, Jackie,
was
yeah.
Black Veil. Jackie, there was Maureen, there was...
Well, he hung out with a whole group of them.
Whole group of them?
Group of them. Group of them.
9 girlfriends at one time, I swear to God.
Hmm.
Just thinking that, I was just thinking. I noticed you have colleagues and people here.
Don't call us, we'll call you, ready?
And Joe was the next to get married.
And Gail.
Where did they meet?
Oh, Gail and Joe. Joe was going with Gail.
Joe was gone with Millie. Joe was gone with Millie for a couple of years. And then Millie wanted to get married and Joe wanted to finish college. So for spite, Millie went off and married somebody else.
That showed him.
That showed him.
Sure, when she returned, she had 7 kids attached. She showed him, all right.
Cheaper and easier to go along the first time.
Really?
I didn't know they dated before they
Oh, yeah.
Well, Joe went to Regis downtown, and Millie went to a girls' school downtown. Regis was all boys, and where Millie went was all girls. And when they had any kind of affairs, dances or anything, they used to invite them to come over. And that's how he met Millie.
And so then Millie went off and got married, and then Uncle Joe met Gail.
Mm.
Wasn't Joe going on and off with Millie and Gail? Remember one week he'd have Gail's picture up.
No.
Yeah, it was kind of like,
That was when they were just breaking up, I guess, yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. But I was the one who warned him about Gail. But he didn't listen. He didn't listen. Because, well, you look back at the family and you knew her. If you knew her mother, you knew that something was screwy right there. And then she had relatives. She's
only speaking the truth.
And we knew she had relatives that were a little off balance. So I said, Joe, there's something wrong in that family. That's the truth.
You tried to tell all 3 of your sons that same thing, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
How about your daughters?
No, wait, we didn't finish the third son yet.
Oh.
No, I never said anything about Betty. Oh, I didn't like...
She did, because
Yeah, after all,
she didn't want Terry to get married.
I didn't want him to get married while he was in college.
Yeah, but also you pointed out the history of mental illness in her family.
Right, I did.
And he did. I mean, who's arguing?
You know, they'd go to the movies. She had a father and a mother. I was alone, with this one still home and young and everything. And they'd go to a movie, and I'd have to go down, and because Betty had to be home at 11 o'clock. And I'd have to go down and pick them up from the movies and take
me
Betty
out of
in.
bed and everything.
Yeah, and take Betty home and then bring him home because he wasn't driving. He wasn't of age to drive. So I didn't think that was very nice of them. And then there was a weird there with their water there and the way they treated the grandmother. I said, something's wrong.
You're right.
So,
With the daughter, did you say?
No,
border.
Ray. Uncle Ray.
Uncle Ray, he was there more than the father was. So, hey, you better not begin to say.
What about
We'll
when,
save
like,
some private stuff.
what about like when Kay got married?
The first girl.
What that?
No, she wasn't the first girl to get married.
No.
In
Nancy.
both cases, it was
right over.
the second son and the second daughter that got married first then.
That's true.
Yeah, it wasn't like the old Italian custom. You wouldn't dare get married before your older sister.
My other sister got married before Josephine too. I got
Yeah?
married before Josephine.
Yeah? Uh-huh.
About a year and a half. So.
But usually that
What
wasn't.
about Kay and Nancy, when they got married? What were your thoughts about that?
I had nothing against them getting married. We had nothing against Sam to this day. Only that he likes to gamble. And almost lost the house from under them. Right?
That's a minor technicality.
Live on the edge.
In fact,
Mrs. Lincoln, how was the plan?
in fact, Aunt Ven and I tried our darnest to get them to stay together.
No. That
Yes,
was
Aunt Ven and I,
that was
when we're trying to get,
that's when he had the business upstairs and couldn't account for
oh,
what
then,
he did with,
with all the money. With all,
what he did with,
he wore out a car going up to Pennsylvania to get the clothes.
Clothes.
Yeah, up in
how
Peapack.
he managed to buy the clothes in the first place.
What clothes?
He had a dress shop
Upstairs over the beauty parlor. But there was nobody up there. How could he run a beauty parlor and be upstairs watching what the customers were doing?
Let them go up and pick out what they wanted.
And come down and pay for it.
Sure they didn't fall off a truck somewhere?
Maybe they did. That was one of his excuses. He went to New York to get something, and when he came down, the truck was empty. What was that deal?
Slippers
Slippers
or something.
or something.
Were in the truck, and he had to pay the guy, and the guy took over the truck or something with the merchandise.
Something like that. I don't know.
What about Hank?
Well, Hank came with us from Long Island. We inherited him. In fact, Evelyn.
Daddy's fault too.
In fact, Evelyn Webster's daughter was going with Hank.
Lynn.
Oh,
Lynn,
really?
yeah.
Yeah. Nancy stole him out from
What a steal.
We're gonna have to do some heavy editing.
Eddie.
Oh, gee.
movie after.
I didn't even know there was a picture of Faye
I never thought I'd
And then there was Lori. And then Lori wanted to get married.
we covered him already?
Oh, yeah.
Tara.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
It's a short and ugly story.
Oh, sure, an ugly story. When I was trying to keep you from getting married, her mother called me up, and I says, you know, he's got to go to college, and he hasn't got a father to help him go through college. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. His father left him a lot of money. I says, oh, I'm glad to hear about that. I says, I didn't know that.
Maybe Terco?
Yeah. Betty's mother told me that.
An old station.
Well, they shit him for a shock, huh? The poor kid, he did everything, that kid. He painted houses. He did everything while he was going to college. Worked in a...
Swan dive,
He
etc.
he worked in the hoagie shops, making hoagies. And me, I was carrying Betty down there to see him, you know, and had to be home at a certain time.
I remember Sam and I taking her down there that one time.
I don't ever remember Sam going down. I know I went down a lot of times with her.
Where was this, Lakewood?
No, Villanova.
Oh, Villanova.
That was some ride. And then you had to be home at a certain time. She wasn't...
Even when she was with you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But her sister got away with murder, right? Her sister. And he used to say, oh, you're picking on Betty. Her sister gets away with murder, and Betty gets all the... You know, Betty was washing floors and doing this and doing that and the other thing. Right?
She got the wash floors for him.
Yeah, she couldn't go to the movies until a certain time. She had to wash the floor first, and feeling sorry.
Tony's anxious to hear this.
Yeah,
Oh, Terry was Tony was very nice. He called me up on the phone and asked me if he could marry.
Yeah, from my apartment.
Of course, he was as old as Nora is now. He should have learned a few things by then.
Yeah, he made. He made the mistakes for me. He got his mistakes out of the way before I met him. And of course, I don't make mistakes. So.
No. Still waiting for our first.
But what were the two people you told me never to go near? Married men and musicians.
I don't remember that.
I wasn't married.
You were a musician.
No, she told me that the two men to stay away from were married men and musicians.
I wasn't even a musician. I still am not.
Yes, you were.
No.
Oh, yes.
I still don't know how to play the guitar.
He just fakes it.
I do. I fake it all the time.
Let's see. She didn't like the first boyfriend, though,
No.
Oh, God, Jeff.
Jeff the transvestite
Jeff.
said,
Yeah.
really
You had to bring.
Wine
Jeff made Betty look emotionally healthy.
Oh, come on.
It's true.
And how'd you feel when I got engaged to Jeff?
Did you ever get engaged?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Sure, she gave it back.
We all went. That was a close one.
What are you going to
Mother
do?
twisted your arm and you gave it back?
No, Mother didn't do nothing.
I liked Jeff, but he was not wrapped real tight.
No, he wasn't.
He was.
Nancy named him the orange sneakered creep. You remember that?
What?
Nancy named Jeff the orange sneakered creep. He had these orange suede sneakers that he wore.
God.
She called him the orange sneakered creep.
No matter what he had on the orange sneakers.
Yeah.
And his mother, well, he was adopted, and so was his sister adopted. I mean, it wasn't his sister. I mean, the girl was
Can't blame his
adopted.
family mentality.
No. Well, I mean,
With him was Daniel.
Yes,
That was
Danny
like
boy.
Danny boy.
Our Danny boy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeff ran over him.
Our Danny dog.
Danny dog.
I don't believe that dog survived
He
that.
survived, all of us kids and you kids.
Getting run over.
Yeah.
I mean, he was only a little pup when he got run over.
Yep.
I didn't realize Jeffrey
Well, yeah, he was a.
He got hit.
No, he was a stray dog and walked into Jeff's garage or something, right?
Me and Patty in the back.
Yeah, we used to take you and Patty with us all over.
And Blair Neal Sedaka.
And the Carpenters.
Boy. Talk about a hot time.
And I can remember you taking me and Patty on the Alice Charmer tractor too. We'd be all in our halter tops and you'd take us one on each side and cut in the grass.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if that Alice Chalmers is going to go this summer.
got brand new tires.
Well, the
That ought to
tires
make it
don't
go.
make it go.
It'll just start.
It was running last year before
Yeah.
the winter
How old is that
and
thing?
started.
We bought that at an auction in Ringo's. and
Bob rode that home.
It was a 1932 Alice Chalmers C. And it was literally a retired antique when we bought it.
It's amazing it's lasted this long.
You know what? It runs at low RPM,
Yeah.
and it's just built, very, very slowly.
There's not much they say for to go bad on it.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just beautifully built.
Putting me to sleep just for watching it. That also reclines.
Be more comfortable being how
What else do we want to ask Mom here?
What do you want to ask me now?
Well, how about some personal questions?
We haven't been personal enough.
Like, what do you think about premarital sex?
Jesus gracious.
No?
She thinks rapists should be castrated.
All night. When she talking to Jamie about that was something we didn't know the other day.
if you had to put a time capsule that would be buried and be dug up after about 50 years or 100 years from now, and given your life and everything you've learned and experienced, what words of wisdom could you put in that time capsule to be buried so that people, when they dig it up later on, will know something better about themselves?
Oh, cripes.
That's a heavy good thing, man. Wow.
I tell you one thing.
What?
Don't wait to do anything that you just want to do. Like our daddy, we were going to go to Hawaii together. We were saving with the club
Yeah.
out in Oran. There was 6 couples. And we used to put so much away each week to go to Hawaii. Well, he never lived to see the day.
So what are you trying to say?
To hell with everything and go.
Hey, I'm going.
Alright, you gotta take Laura.
Talk me into it.
Don't wait for tomorrow.
All right, you want to shut this off? I'll see you later.
It's a good point.
You're right.
And retire before you're too old
Oh,
to
this is-
retire, right?
Right.
No.
No?